everybody, it's Jen with Caketastic Cakes, and I'm going to show you how I made this cake doing a marbled icing wrap kind of technique. And, that was my attempt, and I'm going to show you what I did. It was actually not too hard, and it looks pretty good. So I start out with my cake. This was a 6-inch cake. It's 4 layers tall. I've got raspberry jelly in between the layers because this was a chocolate and raspberry cake. And since it's already crumb coated, I'm now just adding the outer layer of chocolate icing. This is regular American buttercream. I just made it chocolate, of course, and I'm going to put a nice thick layer on and try to make it pretty. And if you guys have seen my videos before, then you'll know that smoothing icing is not really my strong suit. I keep trying. I keep trying to make it nice and smooth and pretty, and some of these people, man, they make it look like glass. It's so perfect, but I do the best I can, and once I've given it my all and smoothed it as much as I can, I'm going to pop that sucker back in the fridge and then get ready to do the icing wrap. But just like always, don't forget to clean up your cake plate. As long as you keep it clean before you put it in the fridge, the icing won't set and stick to it as hard. It makes it a lot easier. Just a little tidbit from experience there. Alright, I've got an acetate sheet on my counter there. It's hard to see. It's being weighed down by the scissors in my glass. And I've got my 3 colors of buttercream icing. I've got some of the chocolate, I've got some light pink, and I've got some dark pink there. I had actually mixed some of the raspberry jelly into the pink icing, the light pink icing, to get that dark pink. So it's weird. The texture is different. It's stickier and goopier. It's not necessarily runny, but a little bit. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It was interesting. I would actually definitely do it again. I think it gave it a neat look when it was finally all said and done. But what I'm doing is taking a little nip from the 2 dark colors and adding it to a big piece of the light color, like a little chocolate, putting in there a little pink, and then I'm going to take a big scoop of the light pink, and whatever I get of the other 2, you get. And then you kind of smear it around on your acetate sheet. Now, something I should have been more careful about was measuring the height of my cake, because I got my acetate sheet here, and I'm just like, la la la, making my icing layer here. And I didn't realize that I had made it too tall. So I did have to go back and just, wipe off some of the height that I didn't end up showing because it was just, scraping off some icing. So just be aware of the height of your cake and then the height of the icing wrap that's going to go on your cake. And again, I'm just taking the nips of the 2 darker colors, mixing it with the lighter color, a lot of the lighter color, and then filling in the cracks. I've never tried this before, so I am happy with how it came out. I feel like it probably could look more marbled, and I probably should have streaked it more when I put it down. I was trying to be careful by not mixing it too much. I didn't want the colors to just blend together and become muddy, so I was trying to be real careful not to streak it or mix it too much. So I think I erred on the side of caution a little too much. Now, again, I was still very happy with how it came out, but, live and learn, right? So just like any time, if you've made acetate sheets before, then you get your layer on, you try to make it as even thickness as possible. Just kind of keep smoothing your top layer there until you think it's good. If you don't have these acetate wraps, I've seen people do it with pieces of parchment paper. So I feel like, you don't have to spend the money for the fancy stuff. I forget how I came onto this. I think it was gifted to me for a holiday or something. So I had it, but yeah, I don't think you necessarily need it. It might make your life a little easier since it is stiffer and stronger. But yeah, you do what you gotta do. If you're making cakes all the time, maybe it's worth it. If you're not, maybe it's not worth it. You also need to measure the diameter of the cake, so when you cut the length of your acetate sheet or your parchment paper, whatever you're going to do, that it's the right size and you don't overlap or underlap too much. I wrapped it around, as you saw, rubbed it with my paddle a little bit just to make the icing really press onto the cake, and then I stuck it in the fridge for half an hour. Now I carefully, sorry about the angle there, that was my armpit, but I'm carefully peeling it off, and as you can see, it came off pretty good. That dark pink that I mentioned that was kind of sticky and weird, where I mixed jelly in with the icing, stuck to the sheet way more than anything else. So when it peeled away, it had like little dimples, little roughness. Hi, my child. And I am going back with my spatula here just to smooth it because it had like all these little dimples sticking, or I guess little like chicken skin sticking up where it's stuck and pulled away from the sheet. So I'm just smoothing it out a little bit, taking that little extra icing off as well. Now I've got some more of the chocolate icing, and I'm just creating a border around the top. I was not sure about this, I'm going to be honest. Like, I put it on at first and I was like, oh no, I hate this. It doesn't look right. But I figured, let me try it, because a lot of times you'll see these cake wraps and they don't have any type of a border around the top. I think it works. Like, when it was all said and done and put together, I thought it was pretty. If you don't want a border on the top, don't do it. I think maybe because it was also the chocolate icing on the chocolate, so it kind of goes together. It doesn't stand out a whole lot. It works. I had some extra pink, so I just made a couple of dollops. I didn't have that much extra pink, so I'm only going to do a few. And again, this was a raspberry chocolate cake. And so I got some fresh raspberries, well, as fresh as the grocery store could be, and put them on top around my blobs of icing, my little pink blobs there. And I quickly realized that my pink blobs were getting dwarfed by the raspberries. So going back, giving them a little bit extra height, which I think made the difference. I think it looks much nicer like that. But, of course, do what you want. Do however you like it. I have some more of the chocolate icing, so I made a couple of little stars down bottom. Stuck a couple little raspberries in them because this cake does have to travel, so I don't want the raspberries rolling all around. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to, patch the seal on the back where my acetate sheet came together. So I went back with a little bit of icing and just patched up that crack. And I put a little bit of chocolate icing over the seam and kind of smooshed it to the side a little bit to make it seem more organic and less like a patch. And then I think I overblended it. So I went a little too far. But anyway, it came out really pretty. I was very happy with it. I think it looked good. They loved it. The people who got the cake, my friend, loved it. So she was very happy with it. And yeah, it's not that hard. It really isn't. I would definitely do this again. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe because it helps me out as well. Check out my other videos. I got a whole ton of them out there. And as always, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.